everyone! Now we are gonna have a chill day, just drawing. And I was feeling fairy tale vibes, so we're gonna go for fairies. A cute fairy. Draw with me. And since we are diving into the magical and mysterious world of fairies, those enchanting little beings that have captured our imaginations for centuries, I decided it would be fitting to make some story time while I draw. So, who knows, by the end of this video you might start looking at nature a little different too. Grab a cozy drink, sit back, and let's get started. Now, before we get into the stories, let's answer the age-old question, what is a fairy? A fairy, also called a fae, or even the fair folk, is a creature from folklore. They are often described as anthropomorphic beings, which means they look like humans but with magical otherworldly characteristics. These little spirits have appeared in the stories of many cultures, and while the exact details may vary, fairies are always linked to nature. The woods, flowers, rivers, anything that holds that nature energy, magic. Now let's start with the stories. This first one is super short, but it clearly leaves a vivid image in your mind, believe me. This person says, when my friend and I were kids, we were playing in his mom's garden and we both saw a grasshopper with a human face perching on a flower stem. It was smiling. It sprang out of sight and that was it. We caught grasshoppers and other insects all the time. We never saw anything like that before or again. Isn't that chilling? I mean, I love it. Maybe I will draw it. In this next story, the person says they have lived a pretty free of supernatural stuff life, but there's a thing they will never forget. I loved roses as a child. I was always delighted that they bloomed at the bottom of the hill our house sat on. One day, it was cold and wintry, no flowers out yet, and I simply stated that I wish I had a rose. That was it, and we all left for the day. That night, when we returned home, there was a single rose, fully bloomed, there on the bush. I was told it was something magical. Someone had given me a gift. Now, as an adult, with a vague understanding of the connection between fae and nature, I kinda think it was them. I hope it makes sense. Honestly, that's really magical. If it was winter and there were no flowers before and then they return and suddenly a fully bloomed rose, that's so pretty. This next one, it's more into the creepy side. I have seen people tell me that fairies are dangerous and they are scary to them. So maybe it's related to that? Someone online said they lived in an apartment that was situated near a stream. One evening, she looked out of her window and in the distance saw a strange woman with ankle-length hair that was standing by the stream. Despite her distance, the strange woman lifted her face and stared directly at her, and then proceeded to smile a very wide, very evil smile. I mean, I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if that was a fairy, but the fact that it's related to the water, maybe there's some energy, and that's why they made the connection. But what do you guys think? This next story, the person says, when I moved into my current house, my hammer disappeared. The logical conclusion is it ended up in one of the boxes. I had a second hammer in my toolbox. I used that and it also disappeared. I searched all over and got frustrated and bought a brand new hammer. There is a saying, once is an anomaly, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. Sure enough, that third hammer went missing as well. About that same time, I was seeing a blur out of the corner of my eye. A figure about a foot to a yard tall, brown with a light brown vest. Never still enough to see details and always gone right after I notice it. I done a little googling and the fey brownies fits the description and behavior. Oh, I have never heard of that. Maybe I should research. Anyway, it seems it didn't like I was banging and hammering nails for the pictures. I got some nuts, honey, raisins, and set out an offering and stated I was new here and I want to be a good neighbor. Found all 3 hammers the next day. Poof! That's straight out of a fairy tale. That was cute. I like that one. Anyway, this next one says, when I was a child, about the age of 4 and 6, I would often hear a banging or even a bell that will wake me from my sleep. I would hear a voice in my head telling me to go downstairs to meet them. Oh, that is so creepy for a child. When I would arrive downstairs to my kitchen, I would see a very tall and slender female-looking thing that wasn't quite human, but when I try to picture it in my head, it seems monstrous, and I get scared and give up because I don't think I want to remember. Anyway, I was very kind, naive, and trusting. So I will take its hand and walk outside, and after that, everything is blank. It may have given me gifts, like rocks and stuff like that. I probably still have, but I can't remember. I think that's where I got my obsession with collecting rocks and crystals and being good at finding cool stuff in the dirt. Because maybe it showed me how. I don't know. I'm just guessing at that, because my memory is fuzzy. A parenthesis here, my mom loves to do that. So maybe she has an experience like that. I'm gonna check it out. Anyway, it probably messed with my memory. It happened a lot for a few years, probably a few times a week or every 2 weeks. It just stopped as I aged. Sometimes I wonder if it was a dream, but it happened so often, and I would wake up with dirty feet the next day. And once my mom woke up and caught me coming back inside in the middle of the night, I had no explanation for her. Okay, this is so weird and creepy, but it also suits all the stories about how fairies steal kids. Yeah, I don't know what's about that, but they like stealing kids or replacing them with one of their own. Something like that, I remember. It's so creepy, but so cool. Now let's talk about aluches. They are tiny creatures from Mayan mythology, considered to be protectors of the jungle and its inhabitants. I first heard of them when I was living in Cancun, actually, and I have some stories of my own about that. But let's see about this one. In 1980, construction workers building a bridge in Cancun kept finding that all the work they did the day before had been mysteriously destroyed overnight. Frustrated and desperate, they sought help from the Mayan priest, who told them that aluches were angry and playing tricks on them, probably because they were destroying part of the jungle to build this bridge. The priest advised them to build a small temple beneath the bridge to appease the aluches, and that's exactly what they did. The workers finished the bridge, and the aluches were satisfied. Today, there's a small temple beneath that bridge, and people still leave offerings for the aluches: corn, honey, flowers, and even fruit. So next time, when you are in Cancun, maybe we can check this temple under the bridge. Or if you see glimpses of tiny magical beings, you know what they are now. It kind of reminds me of elves, tiny gnomes type of lore also, and how it works. Like, they're just mischievous little things, but it's always about the protection of nature and their home and animals, and I think that's also lovely. Okay, things could go really bad after this point, so I'm showing proof that the drawing was kinda somehow okay, but I really don't like that leaf that it's mixing with the wings. I don't know how to fix it. We're gonna try something. It may turn up ugly, but it's all learning. One of the stories I have, when I was living in Cancun, it actually happened to my brother. I was very young at that time. I was 8 years old, but he was in his 20s. So he was partying crazy. And one night, I think my parents got really tired of just waiting for him to come back at decent hours of the night. So they would just lock the door and just expect him to sleep outside, I guess. Or maybe they forgot. I'm not really sure. The point was that he came back super drunk and super late, and we were all asleep. And he kept banging at the door, but nobody answered. So he said, okay, I'm just gonna sleep outside. And he laid down in like the garden, and he swears that he saw a little creature coming to him and just like poking him or like walking around. And he, the next day, he kept saying that he was a bit scared but also very tired, so he did nothing. He just let the creature move around him, and that's it. But everybody kept laughing, and they were saying like, no, I mean, you were totally drunk, that didn't happen. But I think till this day he kept saying it did. He saw an illusion. I mean, who knows? There's also these fascinating stories regarding fairy rings. I mean, there's just so much. We could keep going forever. But just really quickly, there are a lot of more mythical stories surrounding them. Some cultures believe that they are portals to another world, while others say that the mushrooms are simply used as dinner tables for fairies. And that sounds super cute, and they look very pretty and magical. Others say they look creepy because it's like mushrooms in a circle, but numerous legends focus on mortals entering a fairy ring and the consequences. One superstition is that anyone who steps into an empty fairy ring will die at a young age. And also on the 20th century tradition from Somerset calls the fairy ring a galley trap and says that a murderer or a thief who walks in the ring will be hanged. Oof. Well, I don't know. Will you step in a fairy ring? I think I will just take pictures of it because I do believe they're full of energy and they're pretty. So, what do you think? Could these stories be true? Are there fairies and magical beings all around us hidden in plain sight? Or are they just stories we tell to make life a little more interesting? Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. If you have stories, please share them with me. And also let me know if you did like this story time format. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your heart full of wonder, and your feet firmly on the ground, just in case you run into a fairy or two. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will really appreciate your support. See ya!